everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Kings Connected. My name is Dylan Baker. In our last episode, we talked to 2004 born forward Nolan Burnside, who was signed with the Camoka Kings for next season. We talked to Nolan about his time with the London Junior Knights, a little bit about his time with the French River Rapids of the NOJHL, and what he has to look forward to putting on the Kings uniform next season. Today, we'll talk to Oliver Sloan, a 6'5", 2003 born defenseman coming out of the PSHF with the Blythe Bruins. I'm very excited to talk to Oliver all about his hockey career and the years ahead with Camoka. So without further ado, let's bring him in. Here is Oliver Sloan. Oliver Sloan joins me now. Oliver, how you doing today?
Good, Dylan. How are you?
Not too bad. Let's dive right into things. Looking back on the last few years, what was the hockey program like over at Blythe?
Blythe focuses on player development. It's similar to a junior program. We have practices like almost every day after school. We have our own room. We have our own equipment manager. It's to get the players ready for junior or their next step, and they really focus on player exposure as well for scholarships or junior opportunities.
That's awesome that you had such a great experience there. It's kind of like a professional environment as well. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, you've signed with the Camoka Kings for next season. How did you come to that decision?
Roop came down to my home rink in Burlington in, I think, mid-June. And, he watched me skate. He brought his son, Jagan, which was pretty fun. And, he talked to me after the skate, and he was real with me. He told me his plan. He told me what he liked. He told me what he wanted me to improve on, and he just kept it real. And I was really about that. I want to go to an organization that I'm not trying to pump your tires or give you any lies. And Roop was honest, and I really like that. Plus, I'm attending Western next year, so really it's all around perfect for me.
It's awesome that you're able to find such a great fit with the Kings, and Roop, obviously an honest, direct guy if you ever had the chance to meet him. And that's something that a lot of players really look for in an organization. So if you had to describe your play style to fans, what can they expect from Oliver Sloan in the Kings uniform next year?
I'm a really offensive defenseman. I like to make the first play out of our zone, to get into their end. But I love joining the rush and, being an offensive asset. I used to be a forward for a long time of my youth career. So, I'm very comfortable in the ozone. I love cycling, going down deep. I think D and joining the rush and being that offensive threat is super important in a team.
That's fantastic. It's certainly an exciting style of play that you offer. So you're a tall guy at 6'5". How do you feel your size benefits your game?
Yeah, I get that a lot. I've quite the long reach, and physicality is definitely not an issue for me. I really enjoy roughing it up and pinching down the walls. And, it's pretty rare when I'm losing net front battles. I'm pretty secure down there.
Absolutely. Certainly a great asset to have as a big defenseman. Is there a guy that you really enjoy watching play or that you model your game after?
Yeah, I really enjoy Matthew Tkachuk's style of play. He's often regarded as like a pest or one of those guys in the league, but he's a hard worker. He's a grindy forward. He gets the job done, and I really like that. He doesn't try to beat him. He plays his game. He's a tough guy to play against, and you want one of those guys on your team.
Absolutely. Matthew Tkachuk's one of those guys that you hate to play against, but you love to have on your team, and a great player to model your game after for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So what did you learn from your coaches last year? And what do you think head coach Colin Martin and his coaching staff can bring to your game this season?
Last year, my coaches, Nick Runtoundy and Paul Hanley, great guys. They really focused on the defense, joining the rush and becoming that kind of offensive threat. Their philosophy was, it's much easier to defend when you're not right next to your goalie. If we can keep them in their end as much as possible, we'll be successful, and we were. I really want to focus on, defensive positioning and proper zone coverage in the defensive end, a different spectrum as last year.
Absolutely. You got a great chance to work on that this season with the Kings. So what have you been doing throughout the tumultuous last couple of years to get yourself to a point now where you feel you can take the next step in your play?
Yeah, well, I've always been a big fit guy, so I've never had problems with physically jumping to the next level. It's really just been like mentally and skill based. I've really been working on my shots in hand. I'm ripping pucks every day. But also like since COVID has started, I feel like I've matured so much as a person, as not only as a person but also a player.
That's awesome that the maturity has come a long way, and that mental fortitude as well is a big aspect of the game. Oliver, thanks so much for
Mhm.
joining the show today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Dylan.
That was my interview with Oliver Sloan, a defenseman who is signed with the Camoka Kings for next year. In talking to Oliver, you really hear his knowledge of his own game. He knows what he needs to get better at. He knows the aspects of his game that he wants to work on this upcoming season. He wants to be better defensively. He wants to work on the defensive side of his game, and he knows his strength is offense as he moves to the next level with the Kings this upcoming season. It was a pleasure to talk to Oliver, and we do hope you enjoyed. Thank you again for watching Kings Connected, and we'll talk to you again next week with another great episode.